Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the Maytag washer drive motor. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the wiring harness adapter and the new washer drive motor. The washer drive motor drives the transmission and the drain pump. The main reason to be changing it out is if it's failed and the washer is not agitating, spinning, or draining. In order to get access to the part, we have to take the front panel off. We're going to use our Phillips screwdriver to take out the two screws that hold the front panel on. Once you have both screws out, you have to pull the bottom of the panel out a little bit, and then you can drop the panel down to release the clips on the top. Once you have it free, you can set it aside. Now that we have the front panel off the washer, we're going to tilt it back so we can take off the belts and the pulley. You want to make sure you tilt it back and support it so it doesn't fall. Now that we have it tilted back, we can take off the belts. The belts aren't on there that tight. To get them off, we're just going to pull down while turning the belt and the pulley together. It should just come right off. Once you have the pump belt off, we can do the transmission belt same way. Now that we have the belts off, we have to turn the pulley so we can loosen up the set screw. We're going to use a 3/16 Allen wrench to loosen it up. You can use an Allen wrench or a socket with an Allen head on it. Either way works. It's on there pretty tight, so if you only have an Allen wrench like we do, you can use a small wrench to help turn that to break it free. You're going to have to try to hold the motor pulley and then break the set screw free. Once you have it broke free, you can just turn it by hand. You don't have to take it all the way out, but once it's loose, we just have to take the motor pulley off, just pull it straight down. If it's on there pretty good, because it's been there a few years, you can use a screwdriver to help pry it off. It should just pull straight down. Now that we have the pulley off, we can carefully lift the washer up and set it back onto its feet. Once you have it on its feet, we can start taking the motor out. Now we can use the 5/16" nut driver to take out the screw that holds the ground wire to the cabinet. Once you have that off, you can set the screw aside. And then we can use the 5/16" nut driver to take out the screw that holds the motor cover on. Once you have the screw out, we can carefully lift the cover off the drive motor and set it aside. Now we're on the top of the motor. We have to take the wires off the motor switch. We only have to disconnect the 5 wires that go out to the washer wiring harness. They're on there tight. You can use a small flathead screwdriver to pop them off. Once you have the wires disconnected, you just set the wiring harness out of the way. Then we can use the 5/16" nut driver to take out the 3 screws that holds the motor assembly to the bottom of the washer. Now that we have the 2 in the back out, we have to push the motor back a little bit so we can take out the one in the front. Once you have the screw out, you can let go of the motor. And then we have to lift the whole assembly out. There's a couple tabs that it's kind of pushed into in the back, so we're going to have to lift up on the front and pull it forward a little bit to get it off those locking tabs. Then we can lift it out the rest of the way. Now that we have the drive motor free, we're going to turn it over so we can take the base off. We're going to use a 3/8" nut driver with a hollow shaft in order to reach down over the long bolts in order to remove the nuts. Once you have the nuts off the threads, we're just going to reach down with a little needle nose and pull them off the motor studs. Once you have all the nuts out, we can lift the base off the motor and set it aside. Once you have the base off, we can pull the ground wire off the motor so we can put it onto the new one when you put it in. Once you have the ground wire off, we can swap out the drive motor. Here's the old washer drive motor next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at appliancepartspros.com. Looks like they redesigned it and include a wiring harness adapter, but it'll go in and work fine. To put the new drive motor in, we're going to put the ground wire on first. All you have to do is set it down over the stud on the washer. Once you have the wire in place, we can put the base back on. Now it is spring loaded, and when you take it apart, it kind of separates a little bit. So you want to make sure that the glides are still on there. And then you're going to carefully push it back together, making sure the glides go into the slots. Once you have it in place, you can carefully set it on the motor, lining up with the shaft and the 4 studs. Once you have it in place, you can let go. It should stay together now because the shaft's going to hold it. Then we can use the needle nose to put the 4 nuts onto the studs. Once you have them all in place, we can grab the 3/8" nut driver and tighten them down. Once you have them all tightened down, we can put it back in the machine. Remember, when we flip it over, these are the 2 little tabs right here that have to go into the openings on the base of the machine. Once you have the tabs in place, you can carefully set the motor down. Then we can grab the 5/16" nut driver to put in the 3 screws that hold the base to the bottom of the washer. Same as when we took it off, we're going to have to push back on the motor a little bit so we can see that front hole. Once you have the front screw tightened down, you can let go of the motor. We can put the 2 in the back. Now we can attach the wiring harness adapter to the existing wires. We're just going to grab the wires and pull them out. They're all color coordinated, so we're just going to match them up and plug them in. So we'll do the blue one first. And we're going to grab the needle nose pliers and grab the wire connector like this and then plug it into the blue wire. You want to make sure you get it all the way down on there so you get a good connection. Once you have the blue one on, we can just do the next one on the wiring harness adapter, the black one. And the yellow one is next. We have the red one and the white one. Once you have all the wires connected, we can get the excess wire out of the way and make sure it goes over towards the side of the machine and not towards the transmission. Once you have it out of the way, we can plug the wiring harness into the motor. Just want to plug it in, make sure both sides lock on. Once you have it connected, we can reconnect the grounding wire. To put the grounding wire back on, we're going to use a 5/16 nut driver to put the screw in that holds it to the cabinet. Once you have that attached, we can put the motor cover back on. put the cover on, we're just gonna line it up above the motor and push it onto the cabinet. Once you have it in place, you can lower it down and line up the screw hole. Once you have it lined up, we can use the 5/16 nut driver to put the screw in. Now that we have the cover on, we can tilt the machine back so we can put the pulley and the belts on. To put the pulley on, you want to make sure that the set screw on the pulley is lined up with the flat spot on the motor shaft. Once you have it lined up, we're just going to push it up into place, and you want to push it up so that the end of the shaft is even with the pulley. You don't want to push it up too far so it jams up, or too low so it falls off. So just get it so it's even with the pulley and the shaft. And then we can tighten up the set screw, the 3/16 inch Allen wrench. If you just have a regular Allen wrench like this, you can use the wrench to tighten it down just like we did to break it free. Just have to remember to hold the pulley so it doesn't turn while you're torquing on it. Once you have it tightened down, we can put the belts back on. To put the belts on, we're going to put the transmission one on first. We're going to put it over the motor pulley and then start it on the transmission pulley. And we're just going to turn it like a bike chain so it goes around. To put the pump belt on, we're going to hook it around the pump pulley first, and then we'll hook it over the top of the motor pulley and turn it, get it to go on again just like a bike chain. Once you have both belts on, we can put the washer back down on its feet. Once you have the washer back on its feet, we can put the front panel back on. To put the front panel on, you want to bring it in at an angle a little bit and make sure that the locking tabs are lined up with the openings in the top of the washer. Once you have it lined up, you can lower the panel down. Once you have it against the machine, we can use the Phillips screwdriver to put in the screws that hold it on. Now that we have the washer put back together, we can plug it back in and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.